What's up guys, we are back again with a new Ragnarok Chapter video. Today we have chapter 55. Very hype. Two new humans finally getting introduced to the main Ragnarok story. The fighter to face Hades in round 7 being revealed. Absolute chads all around. More world building regarding the broader Ragnarok universe, which is pretty cool, and there's a whole lot of cool stuff to cover. Title of the chapter is Taboo, but if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, leave a like on the video, and now let's begin. The chapter begins with us seeing Gull and Brynhilde going into one of the human rooms, of course, to select another human to fight. But we see that there's actually two Brynhildes here, which is very interesting. We have Gull freaking out saying there's another Brynhilde with this very quite interesting face, and then the real Brynhilde saying Nostradamus, and we see the reveal of Michael Nostradamus, a fighter for humanity, and his design in Ragnarok is femboy. So I'm personally not too thrilled about this design. I wish it was something different, to be honest, but can't complain too much. Femboy Nostradamus it is. I don't think he can actually shapeshift, as a few people were talking about in like the Discord that you should join as well. I think it's just, him, dressing up, and his femboy tactics are quite skilled, I guess. But before anything, he says this: "Allow me to prophesize, the ones to win Ragnarok will be the gods." Of course, freaking out the likes of Gull. Brynhilde knows what's going on, and of course this is just a joke from Nostradamus. Gull's reaction here is pretty crazy, and then we have pretty much the reveals regarding him. In all of human history, he is the most obnoxious man, so that's what he's known as. But unfortunately, he's really fucking strong. So, Nostradamus is a powerhouse even though he is a femboy, with us learning about his insanity shortly. A reminder regarding the human designs: they're meant to fight in Ragnarok at their peak whenever they were alive, so this may be the peak of Nostradamus. It could be something else going on, because the stuff we learn about Nostradamus shortly does kind of imply that he's much different compared to many of the other humans, at least apart from Adam, who's pretty much part god himself. But we have Brynhilde, who says something very interesting, that she'll send him back to the underworld, which makes Nostradamus bring up an act again, acting like he's scared or something like that. Of course, Brynhilde can see through this, saying enough with the obvious lies. If you had truly felt like it, you could have came back at any time, even if it took killing the guards. And then, him, revealing his whole act yet again, just a little bit of trolling continuing. As we're all pretty much questioning at this point, is he human? As Gull says, this man is a human. And then we get the reveals. Brynhilde says, "He broke the gods' taboo and became the only one in all of humanity to be cast into the underworld, hell room, everything like that. They're all the same thing." So what did he do to be sent there? He destroyed the Bifrost. And in the flashback panel here, we see that the Nostradamus who destroyed it is in his current form. So he may have been sent to the underworld after doing this and hasn't pretty much aged since. So this is pretty much, I'm guessing, the oldest form of Nostradamus that has ever existed. Then we learn actually what the Bifrost is. So a reminder that the Ragnarok world is broken up into 3 layers. We have Earth, Heaven, and the underworld or Hell, which of course is represented with like Norse mythology terms. These 3 layers, there used to be a certain gate interconnecting them, or at least connecting Hell and Heaven together. This was called the pretty much Gate of Rainbow and Darkness, the Bifrost. Long ago there was a war between Valhalla and the underworld, and to pretty much stop this war from occurring and to stop invasions from either side, they constructed this gate, the Bifrost. Then from that point, anyone who passed through the gate to get into the underworld was forbidden from returning and coming back to heaven, apart from the 4 pretty much supreme gods: Hades, who's pretty much the leader of the underworld, Zeus, the supreme god, Odin, the leader of the Norse, and Shiva, the leader of the Indian gods. Which also reveals to us that these are indeed the 4 top gods, which is pretty interesting considering soon 3 of them are already going to fight in like the first half of the tournament. And then Odin, which will most likely be probably the last fight of the tournament in my opinion. So this all-powerful gate was pretty much destroyed by our boy Nostradamus. Of course, he didn't destroy the whole thing as we learn here, but he still was able to damage it or crack it a little bit, and that's why he was sent to the underworld for breaking the god's taboo. So single-handedly, this is probably the best feat for a human prior to fighting we've ever seen in Ragnarok so far. So Nostradamus is the real deal. Did this without a, volume or anything like that, just with his raw power. So, Nostradamus probably isn't like fully human himself and is probably like an outlier similar to the likes of Adam. From there, we actually have Nostradamus asking Brynhilde if it's his turn. And then Brynhilde says, no, your turn is still a long way off because you are our Joker. So confirming that again, Nostradamus is a little bit of an outlier. And being called a Joker and, his kinda, goofy personality, he may end up fighting Loki or potentially Odin, because I do get the sense that he would more likely fight a Norse god based on, the whole Norse mythology terminology being used for all the stuff. So him fighting Odin or Loki would make a lot of sense. I think he would stomp Loki, or maybe as the Joker he could be saved to fight Odin or something cool like that. And also in this panel, if you haven't noticed, we see what it looks like our boy Rasputin. Of course, this is in like a more realistic human form from our world. This is kind of shown for a lot of characters in previous chapters, and then when they get their official reveal, they look a lot different compared to their, our world image we see in the backgrounds here. But, my boy Rasputin made his appearance very hyped. But from there, we see Brynhilde getting a message, getting the reveal that Hades is the round 7 fighter for the gods. Hades, ruler of the Netherworld. It's kind of annoying that they use all these different words to describe the underworld in the same chapter. This stick to one thing, honestly, but regardless, I'm just going to say underworld. Easy to say. A lot of people, or most people, know what I'm saying when I refer to that. But yeah, them freaking out a little bit, but not as much as I expected. Of course, Gull is freaking out like always, but Brynhilde seems quite chill, especially compared to her reaction to Poseidon and Zeus fighting earlier in the tournament. It seems like she was actually prepared for this somewhat, and actually has a human who should be able to defeat the likes of Hades. Of course, Gull saying, who can beat him? And then Brynhilde saying, there is one. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, and a ruler for a ruler. The round 7 fighter for humanity is the almighty Chinese emperor. And my dude got a absolutely legendary introduction. Brynhilde chooses him instantly, around the wall just goes bang, and we see him just walking through walls. This nonchalantly, not here either. Where is my waiting room, I wonder? He sees the VIP badge on this random room. Of course, this is the VIP room for the Greek gods where Hades, Zeus, Ares and Hermes were previously, but currently only Ares and Hermes are still here. Again, being surprised that Hades himself decided to participate. But then something interesting, there's probably two ways to interpret this. Of course, Ares thought Hermes was kind of, suggesting Ares should fight. And Ares tries to, bring up, hope I could live up to your expectations, but Hermes pretty much ignores him. It's either that Ares was tripping in that scene, or Hermes is being a sussy boy and is actually a traitor of the gods, as a lot of people have been predicting with the few sus conversations with Brynhilde, in particular the anime only scene. So yeah, a lot of, question marks about Hermes and what his true intentions are. But of course, he just plays off like nothing happened. It could very well be Ares just, being even more of a clown than he has before, which, isn't surprising at this point. But we see the arena, which is set up for, the leader of the underworld. Very, spooky. So yeah, very cool. Cool for the, Halloween, timing for this chapter as well. So yeah, pretty cool. We have them talking about who's going to fight for humanity. And of course, we know who just walked through that VIP room. Our boy Huang just sits down in the chair where Hades was sitting, saying, this is a splendid seat. Of course, this freaks out the two gods a little bit, questioning who it is. Maybe he's lost. He seems to be human. Of course, they can't have a human near them. So you have Ares getting up, trying to get rid of him. And as Ares tries to grab him, he gets flipped over by our boy Huang and gets slammed on the ground. And we see that Ares is actually injured here. It's either that perhaps Huang has a divine weapon already, like that little thing he has on his hand, the little knife, poison jab, whatever it is. Or maybe just that Ares pretty much landed face first and it was more his head hitting the ground rather than Huang actually, punching him to damage him. That's why Ares actually got injured or something like that. Regardless, our boy Ares is still getting clowned on even more every chapter. I don't know how they keep doing this. This also causes Hermes to start to acknowledge his human, and then Huang begins talking. Humble yourselves. It matters not what this place is. You're in the presence of an emperor. The throne is where I am, and our boy got one of the greatest introductions in all of Ragnarok, an absolute mad lad. Looking, very dripped out as well, very badass. Of course, we've got his design revealed much earlier, thanks to the Lu Bu spin-off, but a ruler versus a ruler, a very hype round 7 is incoming. Of course, I'll have my full prediction video in a few days. I won't do it in this video as it's already like 11 minutes long. So yeah, that's pretty much everything for today's video. A great chapter. I much prefer this chapter compared to chapter 54. Absolute hype for round 7. Nostradamus information. A lot of cool stuff going on. Hope you enjoyed today's review. If you did, make sure to subscribe. Join the Discord to talk more. Follow the Twitter. And as always, shout out to the people who support the channel via the Patreon. But yep, that's it guys. Peace.